Oi, gamers, it's your boy Wheezy. And my drawstrings are uneven. Hey guys, we're here to talk about the PTB. Played it for a long time last night, played it so you don't have to, and we're here to share our thoughts. Now, I would like to say before we get started that these thoughts are only on the changes for Survivor. The changes that are coming to Clown, we'll have an entire video dedicated just to that coming out in the next couple days. But here we're going to discuss purely the changes for Survivor. The first thing that I'll take the chance to discuss is the new Survivor locomotion. So they updated all of the animations for Survivor movement in an attempt to make it more fluid, more real, less gimmicky. I don't know really what their goal was here. I'm not sure what it was about the previous movement that they wanted to change so bad, but they should have left it alone. So if you guys didn't see, we released a video on the patch notes and the developer update that's talking about all the changes that were coming here. We released that in the last couple days, and one of the things that I talked about was that I wasn't feeling very confident about them changing the locomotion. I thought that it was going to kind of fuck it up, and I thought they were going to kind of break some things, and I thought that they might kind of ruin everything. But I was trying to stay positive, so I said maybe this will be really nice, maybe this will be really good, but it's just littered with problems. There are a couple things that I am in the minority of when it comes to the new locomotion. First off, I don't think that moonwalking is that difficult. I don't think 360ing is that weird. Those felt mostly fine to me, so I'm not really sure. A lot of people are up in a tizzy about those two things specifically. I thought they were mostly fine, unimportant. Also, the new animations for getting slugged I think are really slick. The camera zooms in real close on the Survivor, and I think it really adds a lot of atmosphere. And I really like the zoomed in camera while you're slugged. I think it's nice to get a little change of viewpoint to kind of differentiate between being slugged and being running around. I think it looks nice. I think it was a solid touch. It adds a little bit of ambiance. This animation of crawling around while you're slugged, now that is a little bit odd and it feels really weird while you're doing it, but aside from that, I didn't really have any complaints. But there's some serious bug issues here. Spamming A and D back and forth will make your character just completely lose its mind and enter some wacky animations that are honestly becoming one of my favorite taunts in the game to do in front of killers. Instead of teabagging, I like to do the AD spam. The biggest, my favorite part of this entire update, you can teabag while you flashlight save. This changes everything. It never have I felt more disrespectful in my life to a killer than when I'm teabagging while hitting a flashlight save. This is honestly the best change that survivors could have ever asked for. People like me who just love being assholes, you've just been given an insane amount of power, okay? Use it responsibly. The perk changes seem nice too. I ran Second Wind. Second Wind actually heals you in 20 seconds now instead of 30, which is a pretty massive difference. They cut it down by 33%, which is super dope. Love Second Wind. Should hopefully get it into more people's rotations now. They shortened the timer on diversion as well, and in a pretty short game where I wasn't even trying to maximize it, we got like 3 or 4 diversion procs. You should get to toss quite a few more pebbles than you normally do, so that's super dope too. Glad to see that they're changing, hopefully like trying to shift the meta just a little bit, give a little bit more variety of perks that you can run by giving some of these lesser used perks a little bit of a buff, so that's good to see. There's a couple other major bugs that really need to get ironed out before they get moved to the live server. Pressing escape while performing an interaction, it no longer continues to work that interaction for you, which was probably a bug to begin with, but it should honestly just be in the game. I don't know why you're just forcing me to hold M1 for 80 seconds on a generator. I really hope that bug gets back into the code somehow before that shit goes live, because that is a super nice quality of life feature that I would love to see back. Some interesting things happen when you're interacting with the generator. So when you start pressing M1, when you let go of M1, you'll go back to the same position that you were in when you pressed it, which can cause for some interesting stuff. Lastly, they need to fix whatever the fuck this is. Moving on to the heads-up display, like most other people, I hate it. Yeah, you literally have to look into every single corner of the screen while you're playing to see all of the information. And playing as killer, you sometimes can't spare that much attention to it. It was very difficult for me to tell who was injured, who was healthy, who was slugged, even from the character portraits in the top left. I don't know if it's just because my brain wasn't used to looking there. Maybe I would grow accustomed to it in the future. But the 4 or 5 games that I played of Killer, I found it very distracting, and I couldn't tell who was injured and who was healthy. Whereas before it was a quick, I didn't even really have to look at it. You know, just using my peripheral vision, I could see how many people were injured and how many people were healthy in the game. And that was something that I just had to physically look at and spend my attention doing that I would rather not have to do. Keeping track of gen progress was also difficult, probably just because it was new. I just kept looking in the wrong spot. Seeing scoring events, there are some scoring events that are actually important to see, and so having to constantly look on to all different corners of the screen was just really unsettling. Perks, your custom perk icons don't carry with you into the game. It goes back to just base perks. Some people were reporting that timers and countdowns on perks weren't working. Mine were working a little bit, so the countdowns on both Diversion and Second Wind were working. However, on Second Wind especially, in the live version you would get a sort of countdown until you actually activate the proc of Second Wind, so that you know for sure that you healed an entire health state and that it will actually activate whenever you get unhooked. And yesterday on the PTB that wasn't happening, so I healed a survivor and I had no idea if I actually had Second Wind activated or not, which can drastically change how I play things out, so hopefully they get that ironed out before it goes live as well. They changed status effects as well. They put the outline of the status effect is in a light red, and then the countdown of your exhausted status effect is in a dark red. Again, just making it very difficult to tell exactly how close you are to getting your dead hard back unless you look really hard at it, which is not something that you want to be doing in the middle of a chase. I don't know why they've tried to make this information harder for us to see all the time. They should be trying to make that stuff as simple as possible, take up as little room as possible, and be as functional as possible. And this update has done literally quite the opposite. It takes up way more of the screen, it's way less efficient, it's way less functional, and it's just in the way everywhere. Overall, I think it was a pretty disappointing experience on the PTB. It wasn't as bad as some people were making it out to be. This update's not near bad enough to make me quit playing the game, not even close, really. I think a lot of people are overreacting to it. Maybe it's just overreaction for the sake of getting behavior to listen and try to fix it, but if we've learned anything in the past, it's that behavior doesn't care, that they won't change anything, and that they will just push these updates out anyways because it's what they want to do. So my hopes for any of this stuff getting worked out are very, very low. If they surprise me and change some stuff, that would be great. I would be ecstatic about that, but I'm 100% expecting all of these changes to roll out as planned with no tweaks. Hopefully just some, at least hopefully we'll get some bug fixes before they roll this stuff out, but we'll see. You really never know. Honestly, I'm not sure what more we expected out of behavior. This is sort of the this is the behavior that they've shown previously, that this is the kind of stuff that they do, that they don't really listen to a majority of the community. They stay on the 3-month content cycle to keep pulling people back in and to keep ensuring that profit margins continue increasing, and we just keep seeing more and more evidence of that every single day. DBD Leaks just leaked today that they found some stuff in the coding talking about VR support. So if they plan on rolling this game out to yet another platform without fixing the major issues that their player base has had for a very long time, then I don't know how any of them can look us in the face and tell us that they actually care about how we feel about the game, how we care about they care about the content that they put out, that they really do work hard, and that they really do have the community's best interests in mind, and then it's not just about money. I remember joking that they were going to roll DBD out to the Switch before they fixed issues, and those issues are still in the game, and they've now been on the Switch for over a year. I remember joking that they were going to roll DBD out on iOS before they fix major issues in the game, and those issues are still in the game, and now it's been on iOS for over a year. And if virtual reality gets added to that list, just another massive release to a whole new platform with a whole host of new bugs, then honestly, like, I think at that point it's just set in stone. There's not really any arguments that they can make that they don't really care about us that much. Which is fine, you know? I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. They're a small studio. Make your money. I just don't like being lied to, you know? Just kind of disheartening. That's the run through of what I've seen from the PTB last night. The maps look amazing. The graphic design team has been doing a fantastic job, both cosmetics and map design wise. They've been doing great. There was a couple small details in the maps that were weird, but all in all, I think the maps looked great. They were gorgeous. Still a little dark, but that's DBD. They were gorgeous. That's pretty much everything from the Survivor side. Again, we're going to roll out a new video sometime this weekend, hopefully, talking about the clown changes. Trying to make some plays with his new bottles and show off the new functionality and see if maybe Clown can be a little bit more viable, and we'll see just how much more fun he can be. We'll hopefully get that video out this weekend as well. So I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you guys hanging out, and stay tuned for more details on Dead by Daylight, especially VR support, because that sounds crazy. All right, y'all. Peace.